This is A-Game. Fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what we're talking about right now is a video that's been circling around, going viral, about a young white young male who wanted to intimidate his black neighbors by showing up at their door with a whip. This is taking place in Texas. Let me go ahead and share the video. Video's maybe about a minute or so long, about a minute and a half long. I'm going to show it to you. There's a little bit of profanity in it towards the end, so just be aware that there are some profanity words in it. But I'm going to play it nevertheless, and then we're going to come back with my perspective, because see, y'all think folks is playing and racism don't exist. Y'all better knock it off. Anyway, here we go.
Video of this little boy coming to my house, beating on my door with a whip, trying to attack my daughter. Take a look at this. Also, please like, share, and comment.
Now, before I keep going, this reads, ignorance at its finest. This little boy came to my home trying to attack my 9-year-old daughter with a whip. He also used the whip to damage my car. We called the police, and of course, the police did nothing except tell us it would work itself out. My husband and I went to speak with this little boy's father about the damages done to our car, and this was the reaction. Thank God they took him to jail after this, but why did it take for him to pull a trigger? So I'm going to let it continue. I just wanted to read that to you guys.
Little boy, you better get your ass from off my porch beating on my door like this. I will call the police. You need to leave. Don't you ever beat on my goddamn door like that. No. Okay.
So as the video progresses, my husband goes over to speak to his father.
The neighbor does. Across the street.
Take a look at this.
Come over here.
Not really. We have it on video. I get off my property. Seriously.
He has a gun behind his back.
Because you ain't coming over here talking nicely. You're accusing my son. I'm showing you the video.
We're showing you the video.
You ain't showing me the video of me scratching your car. Get off my plane. That's my life. Get off my plane.
Baby, get off the vine.
Oh,
I'm worried about this kid. It's fine. Thank you.
You owe me a... Shit, fuck you. That's why I bring your motherfucking ass.
Can you please stop, sir? All we want to do is just talk to you simple.
That's the problem. You and your kids gonna play fucking big. Your son came out.
Y'all was so literally in shock.
Baby, please
Your
go.
son came over here with a fucking whip. Bring his ass over here again.
Please.
Fuck that.
You have a gun.
Come over here on my side.
You have a... We called the police twice. Luckily, this time he went to jail.
Come on, let's do it. No, baby, get it. Oh my God.
He pulls the trigger and almost shoots himself and his daughter. The video.
Okay, so stop sharing that. Listen, y'all better stop telling people this false narrative about racism not existing no more. Since when? Listen, see, people, especially black people, let me talk to y'all for a minute. Let me talk to my people for a minute. Okay? Stop thinking that racism has something to do with whether or not white people like you or not, or whether or not they friendly, or whether or not they say hi to you, or whether or not they hold the door for you when you come in and out of your apartment or in and out of a building, or whatever, or whether or not they, offer to give you some type of service or carry a bag or pick up something. Stop confusing that with the mindset that individuals live with and grew up with and harbor. Stop thinking that it's got to manifest itself as some type of sheet wearing, cross burning. That's not what it's about. That really ain't never been what it's about. You know, they like they little costumes and little intimidation tactics, but that's not really what it's about. It really is about survival for them. And they have painted themselves as a perpetual victim to justify it. Please stop saying that racism doesn't exist. The younger generations are not more tolerant. They are not more open-minded. They are not more inclusive. They are taught what we call racism and what they call survivalism as a matter of culture and their genetic survival. You call it racism. I call it racism. We call it prejudice, and we think it's got something to do with a racial slur, or we think it's got something to do with a Confederate flag, or we think it's got something to do with the KKK or whatever. It transcends all of that symbolism. It transcends all of that symbolism. All of that was always just symbolism to galvanize them, to get them behind something. This is why they fight so hard against teaching critical race theory. And I got my critiques of critical race theory to a certain extent. But the reason why palm-colored individuals speak against teaching critical race theory, one of the things that they often say in the news is that they don't want their children to feel bad. But feel bad about what? To feel bad about what their ancestors engaged in the name of survival, the brutality and the inhuman actions that their ancestors engaged in under the guise of just trying to survive and just trying to make sure that they children had a future and that they could survive and be okay. Like, that's what they doing. That's why they talking about they don't want their kids to feel bad, because this is the culture we teach in our home. And we teach them this from the perspective of not necessarily trying to hate somebody, quote unquote. They, you know, that's the mainstream answer. Not to teach somebody how to hate, but to teach them, you know, about our culture and about, you know, having pride in being white. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. If people can have pride in being Mexican, and they can have pride in being black, and they can have pride in being African and Puerto Rican and all this, why come white people can't have pride in being white? Perfectly sensible, right? Perfectly justifiable, isn't it? And in their minds, they're always perpetual victims that have been backed into a corner so that anything that they do, including but not limited to mass shootings, such as what took place in Buffalo, New York, right? They are justified as a form of self-defense and a form of self-preservation. You can justify anything if you put it under the umbrella of, I'm just trying to survive. That was what we saw in the video just now. That little boy pulled up at a neighbor's house with a bullwhip, calling himself going to whip their daughter, and then proceeding to, you know, damage the car with the whip. And when the father was confronted about what the child is doing, he want to be like, well, you're just accusing my son. That little some of somebody that you raising felt he had found his little inner white man and decided, that's what I call it, when the young ones feel bold, I call that them finding their inner white man and deciding that, you know, he rules stuff. You know, why is he being scared? Why is he backing down? He don't have to back down because, you know, this is his land. This is his forefathers' land. And, you know, A Negroes wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his permission, and it wasn't for his fathers and his fathers' fathers and his ancestors' permission anyway. So, hey, me and my people run this. Y'all lucky we ain't ran y'all out of the community. So I'm going to show up, because where do you find a bullwhip? Who buys a bullwhip? Why was that a possession in the house that the little boy was able to go and get and then storm across the street? You think he left his house without his daddy knowing? What, you bought him a bullwhip for Christmas? Like what? These are the questions that need to be answered. That's a heck of a stocking stuffer, a bullwhip. And how does he know to associate that with going to whip some black people? They taught that stuff. They taught that stuff as a matter of survival. So that justification of we just self-preserving, we're just doing stuff in self-defense, we just trying to keep ourselves alive, we just trying to keep our culture alive, blah, 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 blah. That keeps them away from feeling guilty, and that keeps them away from accountability. Do those two traits sound familiar to you? What other system has a lack of guilt and an aversion to accountability as cornerstones upon which it is built? Feminism. Feminism comes from white survivalism. This is why Black feminists sound so eerily like white supremacists. Because that's truly and really they daddy. That's who they come from. That's who gave birth to them. Okay? This is why Black feminists sound eerily like white supremacists when they justify their misandry and hatred for Black men as just them being victims of Black men. Black men are deleting them. Black men are beating them. You know that little divestment stat, it's a Black woman being deleted at the hands of a Black man every 3 seconds and all that foolishness. It wouldn't be none of y'all if that's what it was. So they fudge the numbers, and they fudge the information and skew the information, and then make it seem like they're pushed into a corner and they are in a constant threat of extinction from Black men. So this justifies their misandry and their hatred for Black men. This justifies the genetic annihilation of Black men via abortions. Y'all better start connecting these dots. They ain't all that hard. The dots really is sitting right next to each other if we care to look. That's the same exact justification that white supremacists use against everybody else. They backing us into a corner. They trying to destroy us. It's with malicious intent. We not going to survive. So, what would you do if your survival was threatened? You would do anything to protect yourself and protect your family and protect your land and blah, 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 blah. And so with that justification, I suppose everybody should just sit back and let you run roughshod. Oh, we don't want to genetically annihilate you, just by the course of nature. So we'll just sit back and let you destroy us with a system and blah. That's what they want. For you to lay down like sheep. And really, for a lot of this time, Black people have been laying down like sheep because we have not seen the complete tapestry. We here on the Crimson Cure channel are ripping it down so that you guys can see the entire picture for what it is, so that we can know how to act and when to act and what to do to protect ourselves. Because we're the ones that are open to attack. We're the ones that are now soft targets and vulnerable. So before I sound off, I want to bring everybody's attention to sign the petition that we have against Black Lives Matter organization for the misappropriation of $90 million plus of funds that should have been gone to the people. I'm going to put that down into the description box so it'll be easy to get to. I want you to sound off in the comment section and tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.